You can sense the intensity as they await the arrival of the Tennessee team here at Neyland Stadium. The #1 undefeated Volunteers prepare to race onto the field. Everything is riding on this football game. So there's a special intensity, a special urgency. Here come the Volunteers. Wherever you listen throughout the world, it's football time in Tennessee.
Automatic first down.
What is going on, Vol fans? Let me take time here. The game's wrapping up. Firing up my cigar.
You know, Tim, the thing about it, and you as a former defensive player knows, when the running back is going down, it's really
that smell you smell in the air, this smoke, that's called a victory. I tell you what, this is the best game for a Tennessee Vol fan in a long, long time. I want y'all to give me some ones and tell me what y'all think about my audio. And I'm listening to it on the Vol Network, and I am fired up. I'm 2-0. 2-0. Firing up a victory cigar the day before a ball game. This is so sweet. I tell you what, I just got to pinch myself. I'm pinching myself. I can't believe it. Pruitt was kicking whiteboards. He was grabbing face masks. He was knocking people around. He had our boys ready. And this was a ball game. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the radio broadcast, the Vol Network. And I am super, super excited. My phone lines are open. I tell you what, I invested heavily. I knew we was going to win this game. So y'all can give me a ring and help me celebrate. The Allied Oil and Tire Hotline, 855-489-7623. I tell you what, Alabama fans and Georgia fans, and they're all laughing that Auburn gave up our first victory. But I tell you what, there's a little bit of nervousness in all them big boys because they know that Tennessee is on the way back. I had Big Dog Brett commented on something of mine and said, this looks like the old Tennessee. I tell you what, that hit the nail right on the head. It reminded me a lot of the old Tennessee. And I tell you what, I'm just beside myself. I'm going to enjoy every inch of this victory cigar. So excuse me while I revel in victory. So y'all give me a call. I want to know what y'all thought about the game. I've got my opinions of it. And I heard Congo Bo got hurt, but he had an interception. That's the first time I've heard his name called. And golly, I don't know how long. But our defensive backfield, who's full of freshmen, played big. And I don't want to hear this, Auburn ain't that good. They may not be as good as people thought they were, but they were a ranked team. We were on the road at the Hogwarts School of Medicine. That witch doctor tried everything they could do to get Auburn the victory. But I tell you what, we had something for them. Garantano had over 300 yards passing. One of the best games we had. Our offensive line held up. We were getting to Stid Baloney. I saw where Florida had a run for their money against Vanderbilt, but the last I checked, I think they went ahead 27-21. But this is why college football is the greatest sport on the planet. It's better than the NFL. I've said this I don't know how many times. It's better than the NBA. It's just better than any sport out there. And I know Auburn scored a touchdown, but that don't mean nothing. We've got this game. I tell you what, y'all going to see me melt down. Let's see what happens.
30-17. Stidham looking. Fires deep for the end zone. That pass going to be caught.
Touchdown. We still got this. We still got this. Don't get me all fired up about this. Let's see. How much time is left? I'm still smoking my cigar.
The freshman catches his second touchdown of the season, and the Tigers have pulled to within 7.
How much time's left, guys?
Carlson on to try the extra point.
37 seconds left.
Comes with 37 seconds remaining in the game.
Can y'all hear the broadcast on my phone?
Kick is good.
We're gonna live this last 37 seconds together.
Both Bryce Thompson and the receiver were pushing each other. There was no call on that, and probably rightfully so. But now you get down, you've got to feel this onside kick.
We get the onside kick, it's
Auburn
over.
has several plays to try to get it in the end zone and tie this game up.
Fans tune into the Jeremy Pruitt Show, the TV show shown.
Hey, did y'all see the Auburn fans? They were filing out at first of the third quarter.
60 minutes of Tennessee football. Check your local listings.
We played well today. We played all 4 quarters, and I don't have any doubts we're going to finish up this last 37 seconds. Mind you, the phone lines are open. Most of y'all probably watching the last 37 seconds. This is just academic. Give me a call, 855-489-7623, and I'm going to check some of these comments. I can't see the comments.
Tim, it's all about how the ball bounces here. And
Well, I want to. Let's see here.
As a recover guy, right?
You've got to do that.
We got a lot of people in here.
Auburn caught it on the bounce, they can run it. You can advance it, so you absolutely got to make the play here.
Tennessee has 10 players right at the 45-yard line. Auburn's going to run another player on. And Ty Chandler is back about the 25-yard line in case they try and kick it a little bit longer.
But sometimes you'll try to pooch it over the top, but I doubt they do that. They're going to try to kick a bouncer.
Come on,
So
Tennessee.
got the ball almost laying down flat on the ground. And here's the onside kick. It's going to bounce, take a high bounce, and it's going to be recovered by Tennessee's Juwan Jennings.
I told you, I don't fire my victory cigar up for nothing.
Juwan Jennings.
That's right, handsome R7, we won. John Neal, we did it. You're right, we did. Let me go through here and give a shout out to all the great people that watch me. Been watching me since last year. We got Crazy Ryan in here, Uncle Luke, Christian A. Says nice game, appreciate it. Adam Bumgarner says bring on the Bama hammer. Yeah, bring it on. I ain't scared of Alabama. I won't be scared of Alabama till about Saturday, so I got time to revel. We got SEC Dog, Duvall General. Who else is in here? Big Blue Roadshow Report. Y'all go check him out. He's a great, great Kentucky fan. I mentioned Uncle Luke. He's in here. Who else is in here? Emory Morgan. Yep. Hey, you can't believe, Emory Morgan says, can't believe Tennessee won. Hey, I knew we was going to win. I had faith. Slim Mosley said, fired up, boss.
Stay on top of your game. Shoot with UPS.
Man, that tastes good. Our first SEC win. And you know what else I heard? I heard this is our first road SEC win against an SEC West opponent since 2007. Hound Dog is in here. I think I missed somebody. Who did I miss? Oh, college football. I can't read that. TALJ is in here. I'm just excited. Big Ball Daddy said he might be calling in a minute. Well, my freaking computer's messing up on me. I can't scroll back. Joseph Trotter is in here. Good old Rocky Top. That's right, sir. Georgia Bass Odyssey's in here. Yeah, welcome back. We are back. We're going to the playoffs. I promise you that next year. Who all's going to be playing today? We got Georgia and LSU, the Corn Dogs. They're going down to Death Valley. I got my money on Georgia on that one. They're going to cover. I forget the spread.
Bad news, your mirror's broken.
I'm going to turn this off so I can hear what I'm thinking here. But anyway, Gunners in here, great win. Alabama's favored by 28 over Missouri. Georgia's given up 7.5 over LSU. I still think Georgia's going to take care of business. Of course, Vegas doesn't look too good. Vol Advocates in here. We got our win, baby. That's right. So y'all can call me 855-489-7623. I invested heavily in phone lines today. I better be getting some calls, and I better get some calls from some happy Tennessee fan. Tim Forston, I done lit it. I actually lit it yesterday. That makes me 2-0, firing up a cigar early. I called it 14.5-point underdogs, and we went down to Witch Doctor University and took care of business against the Barners down there. Go Vols is in here. Gate City Blue Devil, I hadn't seen you in a while. How you doing, buddy? Yep, woo-hoo, we won. Tennessee Vol 09er, fire in the hole, that's right. But anyway, I just think we played great. We played all 4 quarters. We got down first of the game. We didn't panic. We had a good possession there at the end of the second half. I believe we got a field goal. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. We came back in the third quarter and just started pulling away. Space Mountain's in here. Congrats on the win. That's right, buddy. I fired it up. I'm just excited. I'm waiting for Big Vol Daddy to call in. He's probably doing his post-game video. J. Bryce 60, been a long time. Yeah, it's been a long time. And let me text Big Vol Daddy and see where he's at. Dean Wilcox Jr., GBO, that's right. Go Big Orange. And Roll Tide 24, he's been following me a while. He's congratulating us on the win. I appreciate that. Jennifer Chesney's in here. It was a beautiful game to watch. Let me see here. Let me do some texting here. I just texted Big Vol Daddy. Yeah, Sooner Ace has been watching me a while, Oklahoma fan. Can't wait to see Uncle Lou's reaction. Hey, he's going to be laughing at Auburn, but there's going to be some nervousness in his laughter because he knows that we played well and we're turning the corner. Yeah, Gate City Blue Devil says BVD is beside himself. He told me in the third quarter, he said he was having a coronary dysplasia. I don't know if I know what that is, but I said, well, that can't be worse than a coronary infarction. But I tell you what, I just can't believe it. This is just a great day to be a Tennessee Vol. Maybe BVD will call in here in a minute. I want to know what y'all thought about the game. I'll try to read some of the comments. Looks like BVD's calling in here. Let's see if we can get him on the horn here. Is this Big Vol Daddy? Let's see.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Are you there?
Yeah.
What did you think, buddy? I listened to it. You watched it.
Yeah, I mean, all I got to say is I told you so. I tried to tell everybody the other day, but nobody wanted to listen. Everybody wanted to say I was an idiot, that I was just saying that because that's what I'm supposed to say. I'm not the only one. I had a lot of guys, a lot of coaches last night and a lot of football players last night that said they had the same feeling. And to be honest with you, man, the closer we got to the game, and the more I kept hearing about Auburn talking about blah, 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 I thought, you know what, this could be bad news. And they start out with that touchdown to start off, and I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
But, hey, just like our guys have done all year, man, they kept fighting, and they found a way to get ahead, and they never gave it up. That's what I'm most proud of. They did not give it up.
Yeah, everybody was down on Pruitt, said that he's a powder keg and he's losing it on the sideline, kicking whiteboards. I wished he'd have kicked the coach. I like what I see in Pruitt. He even said,
you know what that's called? That's called emotion.
That's right. That's right. Give me some ones if y'all can. Give me some ones if y'all can hear BVD, Big Vol Daddy, the legend. But yeah, I like what I see in him. I really do. He even said "all right" at the halftime on the radio, and I said, man, he got away from saying "all right" since that press conference, but he's back with it. I tell you what, I'm just super, super, super excited. Did you realize I heard, and I may be wrong, you may have heard some more stats. This is our first road win against an SEC West opponent since 2007. Can that be right?
Yeah, that could be right. I mean, there's all kinds of bad streaks that were broken today. And I just mentioned it in a short little video I did, but there's another little 11-game losing streak coming up next week. I'm just saying.
Just saying.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, them Alabama fans. Alabama fans are laughing at the Barners, but if you listen really, really close to their laugh, there's some nervousness deep down inside, and we might have another repeat of 2009 where they were number one, but it might go a different way at the end. We might be making a field goal for the victory. How would you like that?
Hey, I'd take that. I'm not counting any chickens right now because I just want to enjoy this one for a little while. I'll talk my smack about Alabama later.
Yeah.
But, man, how about our defense? I mean, they just kept giving up chunks and kept giving up chunks, and then they'd make a play, and then they'd give up chunks, and then they'd give up chunks, and then they'd make a play.
Yeah.
And, oh, man. And Garantano. All you people that have been talking shit about Garantano
yes. Preach
since
it.
his first game can now please sit down and shut the F up.
That's right.
That kid's a baller, man.
He is a baller. And I think our offensive line, what I heard on the radio, I couldn't see it. They were giving him time to throw the ball. He had over 300 yards. That's the first time since Joshua Dobbs has been a Tennessee quarterback throw for over 300 yards.
I was going to say that's definitely the first time for JG because his previous best was 242, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were giving him time. I mean, we weren't run blocking for shit today.
Yeah.
And nothing looks like it's changed there. But, I mean, at first I was kind of – I told Lawtide in a text, I said, I don't get it, man. I don't understand why we insist on keep trying to run up the middle when we're getting nothing or losing yards.
Yeah.
And his response was, you got to trust the process, but that's the Nick Saban in him.
Yeah.
And I get it now. I mean, you got to keep pounding it to keep those shit. I've totally lost what I was trying to say. To keep them drawn in.
Yeah.
Because if you bail on the run, then everybody's going to drop back, and then you're not going to be able to pass or do anything. So.
Yeah.
I guess those guys know a little bit about what the hell they're doing. I don't know.
Well, I thought our secondary, I mean, we weren't Alabama good or anything like that, but for having a bunch of freshmen, I thought we held up pretty good.
Yeah, we did. Tackling was still atrocious today.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll address that Monday. I don't know, man. I just don't have much, if anything, to complain about.
Yeah.
I mean, they secured the win.
That's it.
How long's it been since you've seen Tennessee do that?
It's been a while.
I mean, yeah, I know, man. I mean, it's like here recently. I couldn't even convince myself that it was going to happen until we got that onside kick.
Yeah.
I was still part of me sitting there saying they're going to find a way to win this. And it's just going to be another one of those ungodly finishes that, unfortunately, so many of us have gotten used to over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
But the gods have blessed us with the victory today, so.
Yeah, we broke the curse of the Hogwarts School of Medicine. And let's go to the phone lines. We got a 910 area code, and y'all could give Big Vol Daddy and Catfish a call at 855-489-7623, sponsored by Allied Oil and Tire. And we're going to go to the phone lines here. Let's see. Let's get him locked and loaded. What you got for Big Vol Daddy and Catfish?
Good job to Tennessee today.
That's right, buddy. What did you think?
That's right.
I'm glad you guys win that game. Like, you guys really need this SEC win bad. Like, I'm glad you guys win today, and you can really go to a bowl game now. You guys could beat Shaw. You guys could beat Vandy. You probably could beat Kentucky and Missouri. It's between those two teams. But I think you guys really could go to a bowl game now.
Yeah, I think a bowl game's doable if we keep progressing like we've been progressing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. What do you think, BVD?
Well, they haven't shown any signs of regressing. I mean, this team has genuinely gotten better each and every week. And I know, we had the 3 consecutive 26-point losses to the Power 5 schools. But in the Georgia game 2 weeks ago, you could see that this team was slowly starting to turn the corner and starting to believe.
Yeah.
And I know there's a good chance that next week it could all look just like it did a few weeks ago. But even if that does happen, I'm not going to judge anything on that, because let's face it, those guys are making everybody look like middle school teams.
Yeah, they are. Alabama is they're for real. I thought they were going to take a little bit of a step back, still be in contention for the title. But at Tua, I saw a stat on him, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. He's thrown 18 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, and he hasn't even been playing full games. That's just unbelievable. They're doing nothing wrong.
Alabama's defense is not really that good. They might put up 41 points against Arkansas, one of the worst teams in the SEC. I mean, their defense is not really that good.
I don't know if I'm ready to say their defense is not good just yet. They're not showing. Screw Alabama. I don't even want to talk about them right now. I'm sorry I even brought them up. Let's talk about this big fat W.
That's right. Let's talk about Auburn toting that L at home. But anyway, buddy, I've got another caller to go to. I appreciate you calling in and pulling for my Vols, and hang in there, buddy. Talk to you later.
See you.
Let's go to another caller. This is actually a Florida Gator YouTuber, if I'm reading my call screen right. You're
as
on.
long as it's not that douchebag Lance.
Yeah, you're on with Catfish and Big Vol Daddy. What you got for us?
Well, what's up, Catfish? Oh my gosh, another week, another W, and you know what? Y'all finally got your SEC W. I'm so happy for you guys. Oh man, I'm glad you can pull that off. Auburn's not necessarily an easy opponent this year, but I got a question for you guys. I mean, in your opinion, who do you think is the favorite for the SEC East? I mean, Florida's looked pretty darn good in finding ways to win over quality opponents the last couple of weeks. Do you think it's still Georgia's to lose, or do you think Florida can make their way to Atlanta?
You take that, BVD. I'm going to get some water.
Okay, you know what? I know Florida fans are excited right now, and you have every reason to be excited, especially after the way you came back on Vandy today. I'm still right now, I've got to give it to Georgia. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win it. I'm just saying that they're still probably the favorite to win the East, although probably the first time in my life I will be pulling for Florida next week, because I cannot stand Georgia, and I've still got a little bit of time left in me before I go back to hating Florida worse than I already do. So.
And until then, who do you have in today's game, LSU or Georgia?
Georgia.
Man, I tell you what, yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Georgia too. This could be the week they put it all together. We'll find out here shortly.
Yeah, that's already started, isn't it?
An outdoor cocktail party, 2 weeks. Each team's got to buy, so we'll see in 2 weeks.
You know something?
2 weeks.
I've always wanted to go to the cocktail party. That's one game that's not a Tennessee game. That's a big rivalry that I've always wanted to go to. They say it is a party and a half for 2 days down there.
I'll tell you what, I went last year. I sat on the Georgia sideline, and that 49-7 game was not enjoyable to watch.
Yeah. I just got a comment. I just got a comment. Somebody said Uncle Lou said congrats to BVD and Catfish on his video. Will y'all comment back? Appreciate it, Uncle Lou. We've got J Bryce 60 in here eating my sandwich. He says, come on, Florida's not even close to UGA level. Uh-oh. Logan Dickinson's in here.
Oh, those sound like some fighting words.
Well, y'all go check out KJ3. Y'all go check out KJ3. He does Florida videos. He's a great YouTuber, and I hope you keep calling in and stay on the line until we get another caller. Y'all can call 855-489-7623 to the Allied Oil and Tire Hotline. They have locations in Omaha, Nebraska, Des Moines, Iowa, Sioux City, Wichita, Joplin, and Kansas City. I think I got that right. If I don't, pardon me, Allied Oil and Tire. But anyway, give us a call, and let me ask you something. You're a Gator fan. What are you thinking about Franks as your quarterback? Are y'all feeling a little better? Because at the beginning of the season, I had a lot of Gator fans that was ready to throw him under the bus. Where do you stand on him now?
I stand on him exactly where I stood on him when he was named the starter. Is if Dan Mullen thinks that he's the right guy for the job, then, he's the right guy for the job. Felipe Franks, if you go back and look at his recruiting history, in high school he didn't have an offensive coordinator, didn't have a quarterback coach, basically was his own offensive coordinator, and then gets to UF, takes a red shirt, and then had, McElwain and Nussmeier, and to put it nicely, they just don't know how to develop players. And this staff that Florida has knows how to develop players, especially quarterbacks. So, this is Felipe's first year really having someone teach him quarterbacks. And I see constant improvement, but I also see rooms to grow every single week that I've been watching him. But, I see improvement every single week in this kid. And with him still being a redshirt sophomore, we still got 2 more years. And that's not if he gets beat out for the job in spring practice next year.
Well, I didn't.
Hey, you know what? I would be interested in maybe you could put somebody on your crack staff of stat finding there in the comments, Catfish. When would be the last time that Tennessee and Florida both won a conference game on the same day? I would love to know that.
Well, it hadn't been for 2 years.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back to 2016. Surely we won on the same day. That 2016 had to have been, but I don't know what week that had been. Well, I got one more question for you, KJ. What is your biggest I asked this on my call-in show yesterday. It doesn't have to be with your team. It doesn't have to be in the SEC. I was asking everybody, what's your biggest surprise so far this season and your biggest disappointment? You can start with your biggest surprise in all of college football, and it doesn't have to be with Florida. It could be, the whole landscape of college football.
My biggest surprisement, I would say Florida, but I honestly saw this coming with Florida. My biggest surprisement is I did not think Alabama would be this good. They literally look untouchable. Mm-hmm. It's hard to find a team that can match up with this Alabama team. Alabama's going to have to beat themselves in order for them to lose a game this year. That's my biggest surprise. My biggest disappointment, there's kind of a lot of them. Losing to Kentucky was a real big disappointment. I didn't see that one coming. But, also Michigan football. You keep expecting them to be in national title contenders, and they can't seem to ever really put it all together. So,
Well, I said this yesterday, and somebody jogged my memory. I didn't have it in my notes when I was writing down my biggest disappointment, but a caller brought this up, and I can't believe I didn't think about it. But who would have thought Nebraska would have had as bad of a season as they're having with all the hype that they had with Scott Frost coming to town, supposed to turn that thing around? Have they even won a ball game? I don't think they have. And they've had some bad losses.
They finally won today.
Did they?
Last I saw, they were up 7 today, so they might have gotten their first win today, bringing them to 1-5. But yeah, Chip Kelly, him at UCLA, that hadn't been working out either. Yeah. Kevin Sullivan down at Arizona State, that hadn't been working out. So
let me ask you, BVD, that
I don't
question.
know.
What's your biggest surprise and disappointment?
I was sitting here trying to think of what my answer would be if you asked that. I think I want to say my biggest surprise would be Auburn, but really not. I mean, I've always thought they were kind of overrated. I just didn't. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that as my biggest surprise. I thought they were overrated going into the season, and I didn't think that they would challenge to get in the championship playoff, but I didn't see them being this bad. And as great as this win was today, and I'm definitely not trying to take anything at all away from my balls for this win, that's not the Auburn team out there today that everybody thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, they
agree.
At times
that really impressive win against Washington in week 1.
Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Somebody just commented. Hold the phone. Somebody just commented. It went into overtime. Nebraska Northwestern, and Northwestern won 34-31. Can I get a validation on that? Anybody else want to confirm that? And KJ3 Space Mountain, who's followed me since last year, wanted me to ask you. He says, ask KJ3 about the potential coaches we are going after. As far as Florida.
That Tennessee was going after him this past offseason?
I don't know. I guess he's talking about what Florida. He's a Florida fan. He wants to know about the potential coaches y'all are going after. I'm not sure I got him on that, but evidently.
What does he mean?
I mean, I'd like to go for any other coaches. If he's talking about this past offseason, honestly, you can go back on my Twitter page. I pinned a tweet. I got interviewed after the Georgia loss last year, and them asking me, the reporters, on who I wanted coach for Florida. I said Dan Mullen then. I thought Dan was the guy. I wanted Dan Mullen whenever we hired Jim McElwain.
Oh, he just clarified. He just clarified, like, the potential coaches y'all were going after before you hired Mullen, like Chip Kelly, Scott Frost. I don't know if Scott Frost was in the running at all, but I guess the other coaches that y'all almost hired.
I would have thought Chip would be good, but, he ran away from competition. He didn't want to come and play with the big boys in the SEC. And if that's your mentality, I don't want you as my coach. Scott Frost, I think, would have been an awkward fit. I honestly don't think he would have been the right guy. And, luckily Dan Mullen decided that he wanted to leave Mississippi State and come to us. But, yeah, I mean, I always wanted Dan. I would have been happy with Scott Frost or Chip Kelly, but, man, it's looking like we made the good decision by not getting either of those two right now.
Somebody just posted LSU up 3-0 over Georgia. Go ahead, BVD.
I was just saying I think Mullen was holding out for that Florida job. Because, I mean, he's had people come after him every year for the last several years. And he would always say that he was happy where he was at, which he may very well have been. But I just feel like he was holding out for, what would be his dream job. We hear that a lot.
The main reason why he didn't take it 3 years ago is because then athletic director Jeremy Foley, he and Dan Mullen had a terrible relationship when Dan Mullen left after the 2008 title. And, Jeremy Foley got replaced with former Mississippi State athletic director Scott Strickland, and you know what? That opened the door for Dan Mullen to come back to UF. So, blessing in disguise, Henry Foley stepping down.
Well, let me ask you one more question, and maybe we'll get another caller here to the Allied Oil and Tire Hotline, 855-489-7623. I thought we'd have Tennessee fans ringing my phone off the hook. Come on, guys, don't let me down. But when I first...
They deserve to, man. You guys should celebrate this day.
We are celebrating, but I saw early on y'all were down to Vanderbilt. How were you feeling early on in that game when y'all were down?
Honestly, I really was not that concerned because even when it was 14-3, I mean, both Florida's long drives, we got inside the 5 both times, threw a pick on the 2-yard line, and then had to settle for a field goal. While Vanderbilt had a 43-yard run, and then their really big, long 80-something yard halfback screenplay. So honestly, as soon as I'm like, all right, defense, get your footing. Step up, this series. As soon as the defense showed that they could hold him for one series, I wasn't worried at all. I'm like, we're moving the ball. The points are going to come eventually. And you know what? They came eventually.
Well, they pulled it off. Vanderbilt's always played Florida tough. But I want you to make a comment, KJ3, in the comment section so these guys that are watching can find you and sub you up. So all you have to do is hit his icon and go to chat on, hit that subscribe button, and get some great content. I've got a call coming in already, and I appreciate you calling in, buddy.
All right, not a problem, Catfish. Hope you have a good one. Enjoy the win.
We will. Thank you. We got a Tennessee fan calling in. It's about time. Listen, guys, y'all can listen to the show while you're on hold, so you can catch up on what we're talking about. But you're live on air with Catfish and Big Vol Daddy. What you got?
Well, hello. How are y'all doing?
Pretty good.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Good. Good to hear. My name's Logan. And unfortunately, I couldn't watch the game because I had to work, but I did keep up with it as the game went on, and I was shocked that they won this game, to be honest with you.
Why were you shocked?
What were you more shocked about, the fact that they held on to win it, or just the fact that they won it, period?
I mean, for me, because I live right about an hour from Knoxville, so Ball Nation is right around me. So this is a huge upset, in my opinion, because, I mean, let's just face it. I mean, we've gone through so many different coaches the last decade. We've had a couple of spurts of years where we've been pretty good in some cases, but we've not really been to the level that everybody's wanting us to go to. And I think for this current group of players, they're not used to winning right now. So just getting that win under their belt is a huge confidence boost. Because the pressure, I can't imagine being a player and feeling that pressure of the fan base and just the hype around it. Because, I mean, Tennessee's got one of the biggest fan bases in college sports, period. So to have that following and then to pull up a huge win against a top 25 ranked team, let alone an SEC ranked team, is huge. And I was surprised. I saw the game early on and they were down, and I thought, well, this is kind of close. It was 10-10. And I was surprised they were hanging in that early. And then as the game got further, I noticed it was like 30-17 and about 2 or 3 minutes left to go. I know Auburn did score there at the end, but I'm just thrilled that they won. But there's still a lot to improve on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they still definitely have got to work on tackling. Tennessee's biggest problem is just a talent deficiency. I mean, we just don't have the depth and the size that you need to compete week in and week out in this league. And it showed pretty big time in spots today against that big Auburn defensive line. I mean, they're 4th and 6 inches and we lost yardage. I mean, that's telling. But for what it's worth, You know, they stood strong when they needed to. And how many times recently and even in the past have you seen when Tennessee gets the ball back with a lead and 5 or 6 minutes left, they can't get a first down? Well, today they did that. You know, they got a couple of first downs. They took some time off the clock and pretty much kept me from having a heart attack, I guess. But they did that today, and that's the biggest thing that I saw today that appears to maybe be changing for Tennessee.
And I think Jennings showed up bigger than he has lately. He hadn't been showing up, but he showed up big a couple of times today.
Oh, he was all over the place today. He was player of the game. Oh, I just thought of something, too, and I hope they work on this in practice this week. Maybe it's just me, but it seemed like a lot of times, especially Tim Jordan, instead of turning upfield and going upfield, they do that dancing and trying to cut back and all that garbage, and that cost us a couple of first downs today at huge points in the game. There was one screen pass. It was third and 5 or something like that, and threw a little screen pass out to him, and he was headed around the right corner. And if he just stays on that path, you know, he's going to walk for a first down.
Yeah.
But he decided to stop and turn it the other direction, and he just got swarmed over and didn't get the first down. Hope they work on that.
And before we let you go, I was asking everybody yesterday. I see we got a James on hold from the 865. I asked people yesterday, caller, what's your biggest surprise and biggest disappointment so far in college football? Not just with Tennessee, but it could be, you know, in the SEC, it could be out of conference. What's your biggest surprise and your biggest disappointment before I let you go?
As far as my biggest surprise, actually goes up to East Tennessee State University, to think that they have only lost one game, I believe, and that was only to Tennessee. I could be wrong on that.
You're right.
But considering they have just had football back for just a couple of years, and to go from almost losing every game the first year that they reinstated football to winning well above what they had the first couple of years, that's incredible to me, even though they're a small school. I mean, that's my biggest surprise as far as college football goes. My biggest disappointment probably would be in how Ohio State handled the whole coaching incident, where Urban Meyer was aware of all that allegations, and I didn't think they handled it the best way. And to me, that's kind of been the biggest disappointment, because it's almost like saying that's okay. You know, even though you knew about it and didn't do anything about it, it's okay that you didn't have to do anything, but yet you're still getting your job and millions of dollars. I just don't agree with that way of thinking. You should have consequences for when you don't act on something that's not right. So I don't really think that was the biggest example to put on college football, because in the world we live in today, you've got to make it right, and if you don't make it right, then you're just going to make it okay for everybody to act the same way.
Well, that's good stuff. I really appreciate it. Call back again sometime. I put this live show on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Fridays and a post game, and I appreciate all y'all's supports, but I've got some calls stacking up, and thanks for calling in.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank
you
very
Vols.
much.
Thanks, Logan.
All right, we're going to go to, it looks like a James from the 865. Let's see. James, are you on with Catfish and Big Vol Daddy? What you got?
All right. So I was watching the game today, and, y'all's offense has got a lot of, finally, I think they fixed the offense.
Yeah.
It looks really good against that.
We've
Auburn
made
defense.
a lot of improvements.
Oh, yeah. Like Pruitt said in his press conference, getting better by day. All that matters.
Well, that's all you can hope for, especially for a first-year coach. And team that's struggled as bad as we have, that's really all you can ask for. And we've got some pretty needy fans, and so it's my hope that we'll just all continue to be patient. And I think if we will, we're going to like what happens here over the next few years.
Hey, James, did you actually watch the game?
Yes, sir.
So what'd you think about, as far as the overall effort? Did you think we played 4 quarters like it sounded like on the radio? Is that the biggest surprise to you in this game?
Yeah, y'all played all 4 quarters, but I think it's like y'all didn't give up.
Well, you say y'all. You say y'all. What? Who's your team?
Roll Tide.
Oh, we got a Gump on the phone. So you tell me something. Are you just a little bit nervous for next week?
Yeah.
Well, at least you're honest.
Either that or a good liar.
Yeah, a good liar.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, you got a good ball team, and that Tua, if he stays healthy, I don't think anybody can challenge him for the Heisman, and y'all just are unstoppable right now. I mean, I wouldn't worry too much about that. Yeah, don't worry about that 31 points by Arkansas. Y'all still laid it to them. But anyway, I was asking all the other calls, what's your biggest surprise and biggest disappointment so far in the college football season? Doesn't have to be with Alabama. It could be with anybody in college football.
My biggest surprise is Texas.
In what way?
They've just been playing ball, really. It's their offense.
Probably every way.
Yeah, every way, man. Like, I've always liked Texas, and I think that if they keep playing ball like they have these last few weeks, they're going to be in the college football playoffs.
Well, I had them before the season in the playoffs.
I just saw a second ago they're down 7-3 to Baylor right now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, I think they'll do. I think if they just, because the rest of their schedule, I think they can win them all, really, because I watched that game last week at Oklahoma, and the only thing I didn't like about the game last week was they gave up midway through the third quarter, and they let them come back.
Yeah, I think when they lost the first game of the season, wasn't that to Maryland? I was like, man, they're letting me down because I really thought Herman, he's a great coach. He did wonders at Houston. I thought, man, this is going to be their year. But, hey, they took care of business against Oklahoma. I mean, who knows what can happen, but the Big 12 isn't the SEC. But, they have a chance. That Big 12's wide open. You got West Virginia. They got to play Oklahoma the last game of the season. That's going to have a lot of implications, but still the SEC is the creme de la creme. And I guess if we don't get any more callers, hey, I appreciate you calling. Is there anything else you got for us?
And I was going to answer your question.
Go ahead.
The biggest disappointment is it's really I just really am disappointed in Missouri. They got a very good quarterback in Lockett. And I think that I watched that Georgia game, and it's like they gave up, really. And I know it's Georgia, but I'm very disappointed in Missouri.
Hey, here's a stat for you. I think I saw earlier today that Missouri has gone I think I want to say 4 weeks in a row now without Bach having a touchdown pass. And a scoring update for you: LSU is up 3-0 on Georgia. Georgia just tried a fake field goal attempt that was snuffed.
Uh-oh.
I'm on it.
What time is your game? What time does Alabama play?
It's 3:30.
All right.
Oh, I thought you were talking about next week. My bad.
No. We got we got Missouri. We play them at 7 o'clock tonight, and then we got Tennessee at 3:30 next week.
Yeah. Hey, Catfish, I'm gonna bail on you, man.
All right, bail on me.
about ready to fire up Jeremy Pruitt here on the postgame show, so I'm going to listen to that and listen to the fans. Holler at me later tonight. I got a couple of personal questions for you about truck driving and all that good stuff.
All right, buddy.
And enjoy the win, man. I know you will.
I'm going to. I'm already enjoying it. Law Tide is in the house. I wish Law Tide would call me. You can call me. The number's on the screen, Law Tide. He said congrats on the wins, and see you later, Big Vol Daddy.
Yes, sir. Tell Law Tide a hello, and I'll see him next Friday.
All right, buddy.
See you, brother.
Well, caller, I appreciate you calling in. Do you have anything else? Do you have any
Not
worries
really.
at all? What do you think the score is going to be against Missouri tonight?
Honest,
Yeah.
64-17.
That's a butt whooping. Well, anyway,
Butt whooping. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Have a good one. Thanks for calling, buddy. We got a caller coming in. Well, we're going to go to the phone lines. And remember, guys, y'all can listen to the show while you're on hold. Number's 855-489-7623. Let's see who we got here. You're on with Catfish. What you got for me?
How about them Vols today?
Yeah, how about them Vols? They look good, didn't they? Finally, our first SEC win since 2016. And, you know, I don't know if you was listening to me earlier, but I heard today that this is our first road win against an SEC West opponent since 2007. That's hard to believe.
It is. It is. It's first time beating Auburn in Auburn since 1999.
Wow.
I was sitting there watching the game. That's all they kept talking about. And it was the first complete game Tennessee's played in almost 10 years, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was a great game. It was a great game. I was impressed with our offensive line. The weakest part of that was our run blocking, but we gave Garantano time. And I think we can officially shut up about Garantano. I think he showed us a lot today. He put the ball on the money several times. And our defensive backfield, who's got freshmen everywhere, stepped up big. I know Stidham had some overthrows that threw some balls that should have been caught, but we just played good all the way around, and we didn't give up. When we were down, we kept plugging, and when we got up, we didn't pull a Tennessee. In past, we'd get up, and if they'd score, we'd start melting, or if they'd start driving, we'd start folding. We just kept going, and I'm just excited. Excited.
Me too. It was a rough stretch for a little bit there, going Florida and Georgia.
Yeah.
But in that Georgia game, you can tell that they still had a fight to them.
Let me ask you something. What do you think our biggest improvement is since the start of the season to right now? Which part of the ball, which side of the ball, which position group, or any aspect of our team? What do you see the biggest improvement from the first game until now?
I see the biggest improvement being the passing game, mainly. On defense, it would be probably coverage downfield wasn't too good today. It wasn't bad, but wasn't that good. Tackling needs to be way better.
Mm-hmm.
I think getting tackling drills on the way home is probably the best bet. Kicking game surprised me a little bit.
Yeah. We've got a good punter.
Special teams-wise.
We've got a really good
punter and kicker.
Yeah. Yeah, he put one or two of them down there inside the 5 or 10 yard line. He was punting good. He had one 65-yarder that went down inside the 5. And I bet my biggest thing is I think I see over last year, even up until now, is our wheel. Well, our wheel hasn't been broken like it has been in the past, and our passion. Right. And I think Pruitt's the right man for the job. He caught a lot of flack for kicking that whiteboard. What was it, against Georgia?
Right.
And I like that. I like that.
Me too.
We need that passion.
I wish my high school coach would do that sometimes, but
yeah,
especially from last night.
Yeah,
we had Lower Tennessee down here. We had Soddy Daisy in Ray County, but I ain't gonna get into that. That aggravated me too much. Just glad the Vols won today. Made me so happy.
Well, I was asking everybody on my call-in show yesterday and had a lot of people call in some great calls, and I wanted to know what your biggest surprise for the good and your biggest disappointment in all of college football. I don't know if you were listening to me earlier, but when I was doing my pre-show prep, I had my biggest disappointment, and I wasn't even thinking about Nebraska, but a caller brought up Nebraska. They lost again today in overtime to Northwestern. They're 0-6. They had a ton of hype going in with this new coach. But what's your biggest surprise and biggest disappointment in college football?
My biggest surprise, I don't know how many times you probably heard this, was probably Kentucky a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought Florida would take, it would take them more time, but they're clicking pretty good. Other than the first half, that Vanderbilt game today, Florida looks like not a well-oiled machine, but they're starting to turn their gears going. Yeah. My biggest surprising disappointment, I should put it that way, surprising disappointment. There was a game last week. I think was it USC and Washington State. There was a targeting call, and clearly the officials called it targeting. The booth called it targeting. Their counsel back in Pac-12 headquarters called it targeting, but one man up in the higher ups in the Pac-12 said it was a legal play. And that surprised me to no end.
Wow.
I don't know if something's up with Pac-12 officiating or the higher-ups in the Pac-12, whether it's dirty or anything. But saying something that was clearly targeting, everybody in the stadium knew it, and it's not, that's questioning the integrity of football.
Yeah, they were supposed to have those targeting calls where you can be ejected was automatic review, and I've seen several times since they instituted that where they've reviewed it and still didn't get it right. That's disappointing.
Right. The one man that turned it over was the vice president of marketing in the Pac-12. That was the one man in the stands that overturned it. And how does he have that much power? The world may never know.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about the Alabama game next week? How are you feeling?
Oh. Ask me that about Friday. Probably. And I'll have a better answer. Well, it'll be a rough ball game.
Well, I'm gonna be chirping because that's what I'm supposed to do on YouTube. But I don't know if anybody can. I don't know if anybody can stop Alabama. I tell you what, their offense is just explosive. They can pretty much score at will. Tua's thrown 10 touchdowns to 0 interceptions, and their defense I don't think is as good as last year. I've had some Alabama fans argue with me on that, but they're still a great team. But anyway, I don't think there's a better rivalry out there than the third Saturday in October. It's got to be top 5 all time. And you ask Alabama fans, and you can guess their age just by asking them one question. Who's Alabama's biggest rival? And if they say Auburn, they're probably under 50. If they say Tennessee, they're probably over 50 because, all time, that's got to be a top 3, 4, 5 rivalry of all time. I hate Alabama, but they've got great fans for the most part. Everybody's got their bad fans, but it's just a great rivalry. And Even
Right.
when we were outmatched, I loved the game. My favorite game of the year, period.
Let's see here, 2003, Alabama played Tennessee in Tuscaloosa.
Mm-hmm.
5 overtimes. I
Yep.
was 6 years old.
Wow.
My dad took me down there to it, and the Iceman, Casey Carlson, throws that touchdown pass in overtime number 3, right in the end zone. It gets tipped up in the air. I see that ball flying. It looks like it's in slow motion, and it falls right into a Tennessee receiver's hands, and I was so thrilled. I was so happy, and I had all day before that game.
I remember
Alabama
where I was. You know, when you think of games like that, there's just a lot of great games with Tennessee. But I remember where I was exactly. I was at the Petro truck stop. I don't remember where I was taking my load to, but in Effingham, Illinois, and watched that game. And there was 2 or 3 Alabama fans in there, and I tell you what, I was giving it to them.
I'm a Tennessee fan. The CFL for life. I'm, 21 years old. Obviously, I would say Florida would be our biggest rival, but at heart, I always say Alabama.
Yeah.
I might be young, but I grew up with Alabama being the team to beat for Tennessee.
Yeah, they'll always be that for
Always.
me. I've been watching Tennessee football since the 70s. My first game that I remember was a 1979 game against a highly ranked Notre Dame team that came to Knoxville, and we didn't have a prayer before that game, and we beat them. Jimmy Streeter was our quarterback, and that was my first memory. Now, I was about 10 years old. That was my first memory of Tennessee football, and I know you could probably remember your first game, but I tell you what, guys, this is just a great, great day. And caller, I appreciate you calling in. Keep calling in. I try to do these on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, Friday nights, and after the game. I can't always do it. I was in a bad truck wreck 3 weeks ago, and I
heard about that.
Hit and miss on it, and I didn't do a midweek one this week because I bought a new truck. I should be in my new truck. Not this coming week, but the following week. They're bringing it from a dealer up in Iowa. But I appreciate you calling in, and I'm going to sign off here. We're headed to Columbus, Ohio to deliver a load. I've got a student. I'm training right now until my truck comes in. But before we go, I'm going to go and give some shout-outs to people in the comments section, and then I'm going to get on out of here. But thanks for calling in, caller.
You bet, buddy. Anytime.
Anyway, let's go through the comments, and I'm going to give everybody a shout-out if I hadn't shouted it out yet. Long-time viewer, I see, let me go back in here. Dang, what am I doing? Come on now. This new computer is not doing me too good. All right, we've got Darkness Gods in here. Jimmy Lovelace, he's been watching me for a while. Let's see, who else is in here? Herbert Bradford, great Tennessee fan. He said LSU just scored a touchdown. That's going to be a ball game. Alan V's been watching me since I started last September. He's won a Georgia Tiki Totem. Bigfoot Jr. Is in the house. Let's see, Gunner, I've already called his name out. Huckleberry 4455's in here. I've already named Space Mountain. Lance Sessions is in here. Law Tide, I mentioned him earlier. Clay McAmus is in here. One Voltard Forever's in here. George is in here. Great Georgia fan. Let's see if I see anybody in here. Matt 7397. But Matthew Morgan's in here. Carolina Jackpot. Y'all go check him out. He's a great South Carolina video maker. And don't forget we had KJ3, the Florida YouTuber, on here. He called in. But if I don't get a call here in just a second, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Volmania, you need to get back to making videos. And David Johnson is in here. I hadn't seen him in a while. See who else is in here. Christian A. Lord Leviathan's in here. I think I pronounced that right. Kay Sheehy. 10 Junior CFL 1 is in here. But anyway, guys, I'm super excited. I'm 2-0, lighting up my victory cigar before a ball game, and I hope that streak continues. I'm just beside myself. A great, great, great win for my Vols. So y'all know what's coming next. Thanks for tuning in. Go Vols. We're definitely going to a bowl game. I promise you that.